Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we are taking a look at the Dark Pictures Anthology's latest release, House of Ashes. This is the third one, fourth if you want to include Until Dawn in the series as well. Starting with Man of Medan and then Little Hope. And to be honest, I think this is probably my favourite of those three. I think it gets a lot closer to Until Dawn in terms of how much I like it. It's set during the Iraqi War. You have a little team of American soldiers and a couple of CIA agents. I think, well, one's a CIA agent, the other one is got a military rank, but appears to be more of a tech advisory person. I don't know how it works, but whatever. And they go out to a suspected site of weapons of mass destruction and discover there's no weapons of mass destruction, which is kind of what we all expect, and fall into a giant hole and have to work their way through ancient ruins, caves, all the while being stalked by nasty things. Now there's going to be a spoiler section because I want to talk about those nasty things and how they compare to the previous nasty things, but I can't do that without spoiling the fuck out of the previous games. Graphically, it's a good looking game. All of these games are, including Until Dawn. They do a great job. And nowadays, you know, we are getting 60 frames a second to go with it, because Until Dawn on like PS4, the frame rate on that was horrible. I have gone back and replayed that in the sort of after the fact of when we first reviewed it. And to be perfectly honest, it was a struggle to deal with that frame rate, but now it's all kicking, all swinging 60 frames, and has been for the last couple of games. The footage you're seeing here is the PS5 version. I decided to go that way purely because it was of similar price and I wanted to actually use my PS5 for something. So yeah, that's what you're looking at. Captured at 1080p 60. I can't remember if I had HDR on or off, but meh. I can't really tell the difference with that. My eyes are old. Give me a break. There is two settings that you can choose from on the console version. You've got quality and performance. Now I've had a look, and the two details are performance is 1440p 60 frames, and quality is 4K 60 frames. So I'm a little confused there. I did notice that I think ambient occlusion is included on the quality setting. So I imagine there's lighting effects. I heard there was ray tracing, but to be honest, looking at the game, I'm not sure there is. It's difficult to tell. The two settings look very similar. So I really don't think there's a reason to play it in performance setting. You're still getting 60 frames at 4K with all the bells and whistles, so why would you not go for that? You wouldn't. So it is kind of a mystery as to why. I would expect like sort of performance settings when you're not getting 60 frames, but if you are, then there doesn't seem to be a point in having a performance mode at all. There are a couple of bugs I saw. There was an instance of some weaponry just floating in midair during one of the lengthy cutscenes, and another one where I was this was a little bit more significant in the fact that I got into a little cell to pick up a clue or a secret, and then couldn't get out because the AI person was stood directly in the doorway and would not move. I went back to the main menu, went to continue, and it just put me straight back in that cell. I was thinking, oh god, am I going to have to start a new game? You were able to select a scene, and there was like 3 available, so I picked the latest one and had to replay about 30-40 minutes of the game, which I wasn't appreciative of. The game itself is not long. I would say it's about 7 hours long, maybe. I did complete it in one Sunday, but I wasn't playing it sort of the whole Sunday. I stepped away from it a little while, so I would say about 7 hours was my completion time. I got nearly everybody through. I think I only lost one person, which is pretty good for me, at least, to be honest. The story is good in the fact that it keeps you guessing, because you go in with one expectation of what you're facing, and then part way through it changes and you're like, oh, it's this. and then getting towards the end it changes again. You're like, oh no, it's actually this. I think actually this is a little bit silly, but it didn't really take me out of the game, even though I was kind of like, oh, those. Anyway, I'll get onto that more in the spoiler section of this review. The sort of main headline actress in it is Ashley Tisdale. Now, I don't know what they've done to her. I really don't. I've seen Ashley Tisdale in other things, and you know, she's relatively attractive, and you know, I'd certainly go there if anyone was actually interested. But in this game, there's just something that's off. I can't tell what it is. I mean, you sort of, I don't know if it's shape the head, but there is something definitely off about Ashley Tisdale in this game, and it's bugging me. But then again, I mean, you don't often get characters that look like the actors in these games unless it's like headline characters like Will Poulter in like the previous game, or one of the Ashmores, I forget whether it's Sean in the first game. Where we are actually seeing some repetition of character models as well now. So there's a few people in this game that use the character models from the first. So the two soldiers at the start of the first game that you play as for like 20 minutes, they both turn up in this game. One of them is a main character. The other guy is kind of like just this bit player really. But it is noticeable, and also one of the main characters is also the character model from Man of Medan, from one of the main characters there. So I mean, it does explain how they're turning it around. I don't have a huge problem with it. They're clearly not the same people. They're just reusing the assets. It was... I think if you play them all back to back, it may be more distracting than it was for me, but I haven't played Man of Medan in some time now. So, yeah, I didn't have too much of a problem. I understand, you know, these are high quality character models, and if you want to turn the games around, I mean, I've heard... I mean, there is the next one is trailered at the end, as they've taken to doing, and this one is it The Devil Within Me or something? It's something along those lines. I've only seen like the trailer once, but it appears to be sort of based on serial killers. So that actually sounds a massive step away from what they've been doing, which is very much sort of paranormal centric, although we'll get more onto that, as I say, in the spoiler section where we spoil the shit out of everything. I did have fun playing it. It's a lot more combative because you've obviously got a team of soldiers than previous ones where it was just like holiday makers, and then I think it was like a bus of students, wasn't it, in Little Hope. So yeah, I mean, you got a team of soldiers, they've got guns, so it is more combative than you would see from these games typically. It's not as scary. I wasn't scared at all playing it. I mean, the thing is, for me, it's like when you play Man of Medan or Little Hope, and it's essentially ghosts, right? Sort of, but we'll come on to that. It's essentially ghosts. Now, ghosts are scary because you can't do anything to ghosts because they're already fucking dead and incorporeal, or can be corporeal when they want to horribly murder you. But when it's something physical, as it is in this game, the mere fact that you can hit it and affect it in that manner just takes the fear right out of it for me, because if you can just, you know, knee it in the daddy sack and then run away, it's kind of like not as scary, you know. Anyway, that's probably personal to me. I mean, you guys might find physical actual protagonists, antagonists, scarier than I do, but I think ghosts where you can't really do anything about it, and it's more a case of trying to run and stay out of their reach, I find that scarier personally. The other big name in the game is Nikki Taraby, who you may recognise from either Spartacus or The Expanse, and I can't remember the name of his characters in either of those, but I think he was Captain Boomerang in something as well, wasn't he? Like Captain Boomerang in Arrow or something. I think so. You would recognise him by sight. He's the sort of foreign-looking, broken-nosed fella that's in a lot of things that has a really distinctive voice, and he narrates one of the Iraqi characters, Salim, and they do actually quite a good job in character progression in the game. because you're in there with your team, and these two Iraqi soldiers get taken down as well. And then obviously you have the fact that they're the enemy and they view you as such, but you've got this overriding threat that means you should probably be working together. And it's kind of like trying to get over that hump of sort of expectations that you have about each other. So I really like that. In fact, one of the most jingoistic characters, actually, obviously depending on the choices you make, or at least in my playthrough, he became one of the more sympathetic characters towards the Iraqis. So it was good to see, and it's not done in necessarily too hokey of a fashion, and it's not done sort of out of the blue. It actually has an arc to it, which makes the sort of progress make sense. So yeah, it's a good game. It's probably my favourite of the three, which is lucky because I'm playing it back through with my fiancée, because we've done the previous two games together. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably give this an 8. I liked it that much. It's just, I mean, if you want to know more of why I liked it and why I didn't get any higher, then obviously spoiler section coming up. But yeah, simply for, I mean, if you like the previous forms of games, so if you're okay with the sort of semi-interactive movie sort of approach, then you're going to like this one. If you like the previous ones, you're probably really going to like this one. It's actually, on Steam, it's actually at a very positive at the moment. So that's good to see. It's, you know, these games have always been cheaper. I mean, we've just had, what, Guardians of the Galaxy dropped for 50 quid. This is like 25. So it's like half the price of like a full release game. In fact, you can get the triple pack right now on Steam for 50 quid. So 3 games for 50 quid as opposed to 1. I might actually pick up Guardians of the Galaxy for review purposes. I haven't decided yet because obviously Christmas is coming up and money's going to get a little bit tight. But we'll see. We'll see if I do it, then I will be certain to review it, definitely. Okay, so let's move on to the spoiler section. I will say goodbye to everybody that doesn't want to be spoiled. Thank you for watching. Leave a like down below and all that YouTube goodness. Bye-bye. Okay, so all of you guys that have either played it or don't give a fuck, here's some spoilers. Okay, so one thing I really like about this game that I wasn't able to say about the previous two is we have actual protagonists. Because in the other two games, they were all figments of your imagination. Yes, the first one from gas that caused hallucinations, and the second one because you were mental. Awesome. So when you finished the game, you were just like, oh, that seems cheap. And then they did it twice, and I was like, for fuck's sake, lads, come on. But no, the bad guys in this game actually exist. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, because okay, so you go in and you see, you've probably seen them in like the promos for it. The bad guys are like bat-like demon-looking creatures. Okay, cool. So I'm like going in thinking it's like The Descent or The Cave, like those movies. You know, it was like humans that got trapped down there sort of millennia ago and have mutated over time and what have you through some means, like a parasite or just, you know, evolution in their new extreme environment, maybe something like that. Nope. Turns out they're vampires. Yep, vampires. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, now that's interesting. That's cool. I like vampires, and it adds a new level of a threat, because obviously the soldiers' bullets don't really do fuck all to it. So that's good, and there are a lot of them. It's not just one or anything like that. There's a lot. So you're playing through the game, and you're like, okay, vampires, on board with the vampire thing, cool. And then you see a guy that you played earlier. There's a prologue that's set like when the temple was new, and you played it as an Akkadian guard there. And he turns up with the vampire style teeth, and you're like, but you don't have wings, why are you different? What's going on there? I mean, you've had plenty of time to like complete your transformation. It's been hundreds of years, if not thousands. So I'm kind of confused. I don't understand why you look different.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it turns out, hey, this is a bit where it kind of like, it didn't lose me entirely, but it sort of like clapped on the emergency brake a little bit. It turns out that they look completely different because they're actually aliens that are vampires. Vampire aliens, yeah. So there's actually like,
There's an airflow.
I'm not sure if it's a spaceship or just an installation or something like that. I think it's probably a spaceship, sort of underneath the temple that was underneath the Iraqi settlement. And
It's nothing.
it looks like they were like this cultural sort of civilized population of bat-like things that communicated with music and things like that, and it's all very nicely done. And then obviously there were some that were infected, and they kind of had like a civil war, and the ones that were infected won because they were vampires. That helps. And now when they infect a human, they just become a human vampire rather than an alien vampire.
This doesn't look much like a weapons silo to me.
And I was really not sure how to take that.
There's nothing down here.
I'm not sure I wanted alien in my vampire tale.
People tend to shoot each other.
I would have preferred like the vampires to be the bat-like things and the humans just to change into the bat-like things, rather than have the bat-like things be their own race.
I guess we could classify.
So yeah, I'm not sure about that. It was one that I wasn't entirely on board with that twist. And it was a twist. I didn't see it coming. I was just like, okay, vampires. And they go down. I'm like, why is everything glowing green? Oh, it's an alien ship. Bollocks. Okay. Well, that explains it. They also play fast and loose. They say, oh, they're blind and they echolocate. But they clearly see you at points. Like, clearly see you. Not because you're making no noise and they're just like, Wah! And it's just like, using those eyes you don't have, I see. I don't know. It's a great game, but like that little twist at the end just made me go, oh, okay. I can't really get on board with that. And the ending is a downer as well, regardless of how many you save. You really do come to like Salim. He was probably my favourite character, in fact, the Iraqi soldier. The other Iraqi soldier is a bit of a dick. But Salim's cool. He just wants to get back to his kid, who has been stealing watches, and it's his birthday, so you're kind of like on his side. And he makes most rational decisions. And as I said before, gets almost on a friendly basis with the most jingoistic American there. He is like 4911 on his hat and stuff like that. Which, I'm not sure. I mean, it's set during the Iraqi war, but surely that would be in Afghanistan. So he's like, oh, it's what I fight, and I'm like, pretty sure it's oil, whatever. So that I mean, I'm no geopolitical expert or anything, but that was a bit strange to me, if I'm honest.
What do you think this place is?
Then again, we've had multiple wars with Iraq, so I could be thinking of the wrong one, and that's just me being a dick. So whatever. But yeah, I really like Salim. He's the guy voiced by Nikki Taraby, who is magnificently slimy in everything, but still has the charisma to make you like him, which is a talent and one I wish I had.
You should know the answer to that.
So yeah, and Salim is a boss. He basically is the first one to realize it's vampires, and carries this giant bit of scaffolding, which is made of metal but seems to work just as well as a wooden stake. So he's there skewering the bad boys, and there are some lovely set pieces in this game, and some of the decisions are ones where you're like, well, it's obvious I should do this. This is what every good person in the history of the world would do, and you're like, I've gotten people killed because I did that. I should have picked the dickhead option. So I like that about it.
What is it?
The fact that you could go, I mean, because what I tend to do is I tend to play through games twice. I tend to play the first game as complete good guy playthrough, being all altruistic, trying to do good for everybody, you know, keep them all together, keep them alive, you know, sacrifice myself if I need to, all this.
Where's it?
And then I play it through and I'm kind of like a dick. and I just like piss off everybody. That's just why I like to play games. I think that came about from back when I first played the Old Republic and went through the first time as a Jedi, and then I'm like, well, I want to go through dark side now, so it just got me in the habit of doing it. And in this I can't really do that because half the decisions you make for the good of the group are technically the wrong decisions. Like leaving people behind or dropping people when you were trying to hold them up. Some of these decisions that you make are kind of like, that's not the decision a good person would make, but we're all going to live because I made it. So so it's really, yeah, I like that. I like the ambivalence of it, that you're like, I don't want to act like an asshole, but it will get people killed if I don't act like an asshole. So yeah, I'm pretty made up with the game, really. I had so much fun playing it, apart from the bit where I had to replay that 40-minute section, which was annoying, but hey ho, these things happen, and I'm sure that it is a rarity. I'm watching Gab Smolders play it through on YouTube, so I'll see if she has the same problem when I get to that bit. Probably not. She'll probably go in and come out just fine. It's probably just my damn luck. She's playing the PC version, so I don't know. That might have a difference. But yeah, I mean, I've played the previous two games on PC. Graphically, they're similar. So,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, play it on what you want to play it on, really. Just go play it. It's nice and cheap. It's a good game. I enjoyed it.
What the hell is that?
If you like this sort of game, you'll enjoy it too. So,
Subsidence?
I think that's all I've got to say on this subject. And I'll catch you next week. Maybe for Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe for something else. We'll see. I am weak-willed and will probably get drunk at some point, so I imagine I'll end up buying it. So anyway, guys, that's all for this week. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next Saturday. Ta-ra!